Let's do this one last time. Hello! One chapter today. And that would be the flaw in the plan. That's the end, isn't it? The end of Voldemort. The end of the second Wizarding War. Oh. And I think the title is beautifully said. Because there isn't just one flaw to the plan. There are like 5 flaws to the plan. But there is really one overarching flaw to the plan, and you know what? It is in fact frickin' love. Because everything that goes wrong for Voldemort in this chapter, every single thing, is based on an emotion that he cannot perceive as a complex thing. Like, one of the very first ones we have in this chapter is freaking badass Narcissa Malfoy lying to Voldemort's face. Lying to his face. Because she loves her son, and screw all of this. You've basically thrown my son under a bus. Screw all of this. I'm going into that castle, I'm finding my son, and come hell or high water, that's it. That's the important thing. And I sort of love it because that is the mercy that Harry showed to Draco, coming back as mercy unto himself. If he had abandoned Draco in the Room of Requirement when it was on fire, this would have gone terribly wrong. She would have probably killed him herself, and she doesn't even have a wand. Like, that was it. That was Voldemort thinking that he had complete control, and a mother's love showed up and trashed that. It trashed him with Lily. It will trash Bellatrix when Molly shows up. Molly coming in like, not my daughter, you bitch. Because it's true. It's true. This entire series is based so strongly off a mother's love for her child or children that Voldemort's inability to conceive that, even in regards to his own mother, who he derides completely, as she couldn't possibly be the witch because she would have survived. Never mind that, again, she literally gave up her life, to give birth to him. That's another form of a mother's love. And he's set it all aside. He refuses to see that. And so Lily comes in, and then Narcissa comes in, and Molly comes in, and a mother's love just explodes his plans. And it is the best thing ever, because you're looking at, of course, Harry, and you're thinking, Harry's gonna do all this. Nah. It was Lily, and it's Narcissa, and it's Molly, and yes, it's Harry, it's also frickin' Neville, with this badass moment with the hat, where it is love for his school, and his house, and his peers, that he looks Voldemort in the eye and says, when hell freezes over. I'll follow you when hell freezes over. And he takes out Nagini. Like, there's no hesitation. Gryffindor's sword shows back up because Neville is a true Gryffindor, and Neville, like Harry, asked. He doubted his place in Gryffindor so much, and then he pulls that sword out because he is a true Gryffindor and will not back down to let Voldemort take over. And I'm not saying Slytherins here, because it is not Slytherins. Voldemort uses that, but again, he doesn't love it. He doesn't see the multiplicity that needs to be there, the plurality. He just sees a symbol of his own power and uses it. And Neville says no. Narcissus says no. Lily said no, and Molly says no. And everybody coming in, like, straight up just, I think we have more people fighting in the second bit, and the Death Eaters don't stand a chance. Like, the Centaurs have come in, and the people of Hogsmeade have shown up. And when Harry goes in to the Grand Hall, even before, like, the House Elves come in, which is just the greatest moment, even before then, he is seeing these Death Eaters being taken out by students and the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army, and the Centaurs are coming in, and then Crutcher comes in with those House Elves, and it is for Regulus. That's what he says. He says, "For my master, the lover of House Elves, for Regulus," and he comes in, and that is love. That is love. In all of these moments, the flaw in the plan is love. Because Dumbledore loved his students too much to risk Draco's soul being split. And Snape loved Lily so much to sacrifice his moment by killing Dumbledore. And that's the thing that Voldemort does not understand. Harry has to coach it in a language that Voldemort understands, which is not to say it's love, because Voldemort would not understand it, but that's Harry in that moment where he says, think about it and try and feel some regret. That is Harry's moment of love for another who is suffering and doesn't even realize it. He's seen what Voldemort is in King's Cross, and he pities him. And he says, in the face of everything, when he could just hate Voldemort, he tries to save him just as much as anybody else. He looks at Voldemort and he says, your plans are unraveled, so try and feel some regret before all of this ends. Because if Voldemort could honestly feel some regret, and regret, I think, is connected deeply to love. If he could feel some regret for the mistakes that he has made, the choices he has made, he doesn't have to be that thing that Harry saw at King's Cross. He can heal his soul if he regrets it deeply. And that's the flaw in the plan. It's not just the fact that Dumbledore lost the wand to Draco, and Draco, in a little scuffle, loses it to Harry. That's not even a duel. Literally, Harry grabs it from him. It's two little boys scuffling. That's a flaw, but it is not the biggest flaw in Voldemort's plans. The biggest flaw with Tom Riddle was never feeling love, and thus never feeling regret and remorse. Because when he's done here. It's not a big show. There's not fireworks going off. He's not disintegrating or disappearing. His body just hits the floor like everybody else. And Harry knew it was coming. And he asked Voldemort to feel some regret. Because he saw all these other flawed people who deeply felt their regrets. And he saw it redeem them. Snape might have been an asshole, but his regrets in some way redeemed him. And Dumbledore may have made many mistakes in his youth, but his regret redeemed him. And all Harry saw in that moment was the chance for Voldemort to follow some great men. To follow Dumbledore and Snape and Regulus and Sirius and James and Lily. One last time. Before everything was done. And Voldemort couldn't see it. And that was the flaw in the plan. That was the deepest flaw in the plan. That life keeps going. Because it might have been the end of Voldemort, but these kids still have lives to lead. And kids to have. And people to teach. And they're going to make their own mistakes and have their own regrets and love so much. I don't want to talk about the epilogue because it stands as it stands. And so do we. It stands as a reminder that even after the war, these people will keep going and Hogwarts will keep going. And I think in the end, that's what we need. Because no matter where we go in life, no matter who we love and what regrets we have, Hogwarts will always be there to welcome us home. It's been a good trip. And I think we've got fantastic things ahead of us. So why don't we go together and see what awaits us? Again, we can always come back. But together, let's go forward. I won't say goodbye this time. Because it's not actually goodbye.